minutes early, but I'm going to do it anyway. And so far, there's two of us here, and we'll certainly welcome more if they come. Um, and so, anyhow, I guess we're officially starting a little bit early. So, and it's streaming to Facebook now.
Okay.
So somebody might join with that, or they might just watch it on Facebook. Okay. So I'm using a platform that I like, meetin.com. You found it pretty easy to join, right, Keith?
Yeah, real easy.
Yeah. So, and it allows me to stream at the same time as I'm recording and hosting the program. So the first 5 minutes, I'm not going to really do a lot because it officially starts at 5. But Keith, if you had any little question that you wanted answered now, that'd be fine.
If you just published your first book, what would you?
I want to see it.
Okay.
There we go.
This is a proof, so it has a mark across the center.
Yeah. It's
I
about
got
parenting.
Yeah. Is the wording right for you?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, and I have it on Amazon.
I don't. Yeah. I guess I should. Well, this is an older edition, but there's that.
I have that on the ebook.
Yeah. That's the 6th edition, and
wow.
I have a few copies behind me. So, well, with parenting, it's like any special topic interest. I presume you've joined some of the Facebook parenting groups?
Yes, I have.
And have you joined any of the LinkedIn Facebook groups?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Getting ready.
I would do both. Oh, here comes one more, Heidi. Hello, Heidi. She's just a big purple blob. Or square. And now it comes in Patty. And she's a big, there she is.
There she is. Patty.
Hi, sweetie. Oh, you're so intent, Patty.
She might not be hearing us.
I know. And here comes Freddie Fonseca. Bop, bip, bop, bip, bop, bip. And I guess Heidi's okay. That bop bip. That's not gonna work. I wonder if there's a way to mute that. Oh.
That might be a robot or something too.
I can mute.
There you go.
Get rid of
That's good.
Hey, Patty.
Hi.
There you are.
Yep.
And Heidi doesn't have her sound on or her video on, so she wants to remain anonymous.
Except we know who she is.
We might.
Well, it says her name is Heidi.
Yeah, we know that much. Hey. Hi there, Trisha.
Yeah, Trisha.
Trisha. So we're getting a group in, and it's almost 5 o'clock. I am streaming this to Facebook. There goes Freddie again with his.
You might have to kick that one out.
Well, I think he's probably paying attention, but the bip bop doesn't work. And then he keeps wanting to do that, and I don't want that. Freddie, unless you can control the bip bop sound, I'm going to keep muting your mic.
See, it might be a robot. one of them things.
No, I know Freddie. I've
Oh,
been following him on Facebook. He's been following me, so I know he's a real person, but I don't know who the Bip Bop is. So, well, welcome everybody. It is officially 5 o'clock, and it's officially been my 75th birthday for what is it, 17 hours.
well, happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
Happy
Yes.
birthday.
And my wife gave me the best birthday present today. She said, "You're 75. You can be whatever you want." and so she decided that she was going to give me a wonderful sticker. You can't quite see it, but it says that I'm an organic ginger. She said, "Here's another gift." So, hi, Sarah. So, Sarah's come in without video, but with audio. And Heidi's coming back. She's going to try again. Hello, Heidi. So, anyway, I first thing I do when I wake up this morning, my wife says, "Happy birthday." And I go, "Oh, I'm 75."
A baby.
And that's when she told me, "You're 75. You can be whatever you want." And that made my day. So I'm fine now. I can be whatever I want. Who knew? So Heidi's still trying to figure out the system, I guess. Sarah's okay. She muted herself and she put the and is not doing video, and that's fine. You don't have to be on if you don't want. You know, I have to be on because I'm so pretty,
And you're 75.
and I'm 75. And here comes Heidi, and now she's trying both video and audio.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Heidi.
Great. Okay.
I can't see you.
Yeah. But you can hear, we can hear each other, so that's good.
That's fine. Yeah. So, and Sarah, I believe, can hear us, but she did mute herself, and that's fine. At some point, I may mute everybody anyway. But I just wanted to, what I do every birthday I have is I try to give something. To me, birthday isn't about getting, it's about giving. And with 75 years of experience behind me, I got a lot to give. And so I just wanted to welcome people here. I want you to know that we are streaming live on Facebook, and I'm also recording this to share later. So I hope that doesn't mute your questions if you have some and things like that. But it's something that I want to be able to share it later, whatever wisdom you and I put together today. But the one thing I did want to talk a little bit about is my new website. I have a website called Book Author Authority, and you can go to bookauthorauthority.com anytime, and you'll see some of the content I'm putting up there. There are 2 courses I'm going to be teaching. I already announced one course. It's basically a short course on how to get what you want. And it's a combination of me and some of my favorite mentors and friends like Jack Canfield, Tony Robbins, Oprah Winfrey, and I can't remember the other ones right now. Earl Nightingale, Jim Rohn, and so on. People that have inspired me in the past. And so they're good people. And so I created this course on, the Book Authority Guide course on getting what you want. But I am going to be creating 2 courses. One is a course on how to create courses quickly and easily. In fact, there's Freddie again. We'll see.
In fact,
There's
Freddie.
there he is. Hi, Freddie.
I've fixed it. I went to a different browser. Thank you.
Yeah, that bip bop was crazy.
Yeah.
So, but so I'm going to be teaching a course on how to create a course in 10 days or less. An incredible online course in 10 days or less. In fact, I've already done one video on how to create a course in 10 minutes or less. And I actually show you an example of that on the Book Authority, bookauthorauthority.com website on romantic travel destinations. And I showcase there 100 romantic travel destinations. And I'm going to give that one away to you. That's a fairly simple procedure. All you're doing is, in that case, is creating a YouTube playlist and then showcasing it.
Oh.
And it's really kind of a neat thing because in 10 minutes, I found 100 romantic travel destinations and was able to share them in a playlist, which you can then feature on your website. You can feature it on YouTube. You can send people directly to the playlist if you want on YouTube. So there's no hosting. Doing a playlist like that, you're basically offering something free. It's content that you want to give away to people because you like them and you want them to get interested in what you're doing. So, for example, if you're a romance novelist, you could create your own romantic travel destinations or romantic food to share or romantic something else. And that way you start to establish your author authority as a romance specialist. And so, I've sort of by default became a romance specialist because I wrote a book on 500 words or less on love and romance. And I published that. You can find it on Amazon. And so anyway, the YouTube playlist is a really nice tool that you can use to give away content. It's not your content necessarily. It's just what other people have shared on YouTube. So I looked for romantic travel destinations. I found 10 videos really quickly, and I put them into a playlist. Real simple and easy, but it's a valuable content thing that you can give away to people. You can also social share it. You can say, sign up for my newsletter. Let's say you're a romance novelist. In this case, if you had a romantic travel destinations and you wanted to share it to people. Now, Keith, you showed me earlier that you have a parenting book, and you could easily do a YouTube playlist of parenting tips. I guarantee you there's thousands of them on YouTube. Some good, some bad, but the neat thing is that you can create a playlist of the ones you like, the tips you say, wow, those are good tips, and share them and then give them away as a tool to get people to sign up for your email newsletter. You can also post it to your groups that you've already joined on Facebook on parenting. And that's a way to share content, to establish your credibility, your authority as an authority on parenting. And that's part of what, the whole Book Author Authority website is going to be about. Because the other thing I'm going to teach you is another course, which is 15 ways to write a book in a week or less, not using AI. I'm not that impressed yet with AI. So, it's one of those things where, and yesterday I did buy a couple of programs to test out more AI stuff, but so far, I'm not really impressed with the content that AI comes up with. Now, it could be, it's a matter of you using the AI correctly and really making the AI be honest and credible, because you're staking your own reputation on the content that's being created. So, for example, in the playlist that I created for romantic travel destinations, I made sure that the tips that I shared were good ones, so I looked at the videos, I watched them, so that took more than 10 minutes. I collected the videos, put them in the playlist, and then I went back and checked each of the videos to make sure that they're not, I didn't want a video that was sending people to, a player, some sort of sex player website, or, trading partners website, or something like that, because that wasn't my intention. I wanted the romantic travel destinations to be for people who are going on a honeymoon, who want to share a second honeymoon, or thinking about taking a vacation together, things like that. So to me, I really wanted it to be about romance and not about sex. So I was careful that the videos that I chose were compatible with that. So, and Patty, I know you have your great travel guide, and you could easily find, I bet, 10 YouTube videos about travel in Oregon and Washington, and make
Yeah.
a playlist of 10 videos that way. And I would keep it to about 10 videos. Um, I have one playlist. It's a personal playlist I have of Christmas songs, and I got probably 20 or 30 on that list. But that I'm not sharing. But if you went to follow me, you'd see my playlist, and you could follow it if you wanted to. That's one of the things when you create a playlist. You either make it private, in which case nobody can see it, or you make it public, and then anybody can see it. But at the same time, you can still share it. You can still give it away. You can still have it increase your credibility as an authority on that subject, or a nearby subject to what you want to be an authority on. I bet, I know there are videos on YouTube for parenting, for example, and some apparently are really bad. There was one woman who used to be famous on YouTube for parenting tips, and apparently she beat her kids.
Oh,
And
geez.
her channel, I think, now is gone. But, so, who's an expert? The thing is, if you create content that's credible, you start to build your authority, and that's what it's all about. However you want to do it, and doing a playlist is one way to do that. And it's really quick and easy. I mean, I literally created 100 romantic travel destinations in less than 10 minutes. So it's not that hard to do, and it does give some good content. Now, I did, as I said, I did have to go back, and I wanted to look at all the videos to make sure they were compatible. One of the videos shared something like 30 romantic destinations. So, I had to watch it. That was a longer one. Some of them were shorter. So again, you would want to look at that. Again, depending on the kind of authority that you want to have. I'm going to, so I created as a test case, I created the online course on getting what you want, the book authority course, course on getting what you want. And I tested it, and I saw it took me less than 10 days. It actually took me about a week to create it, and that's with all the other things I'm doing. So it's not like I was full time. That was about an hour a day for 10 days to make it really nice looking, and put additional content besides the videos that I share there. And again, in that course, I'm sharing YouTube videos that are publicly available and publicly shareable. But I added additional content, and of course, I ran my own introduction of it. For those of you who get my email newsletter, you know that I did a video podcast on John Kremer on getting what you want. And the basic thing there, my basic idea is you get what you give. If you want to receive money, you have to give out money. You have to give out wealth. You have to give out value. If you want romance, you have to give out love and kindness and things like that. So depending on what you want, you have to give. And that is really, to me, the main secret of getting what you want. And so that's the introductory lesson in that course of mine. And then, of course, Jack Canfield, Earl Nightingale, Oprah Winfrey, Tony Robbins, and 5 or 6 other people. I shared videos of theirs that I love, good content. So, and then I shared a lot of quotes from each one of those authors, sharing what they had to say so that I added content besides the video to the course. And I'm doing another course, which I'm almost done with. The only thing I have to do now is create my own videos on how to pray.
Stacy Ballinger. What composed? No message selected. Select a message to landscape.
Sarah was speaking to someone else, I think. Either that or video wasn't up high enough. So I muted her because it was distracting. So I'm doing the second course is a course on how to pray, because I've created a book on prayer groups around the country, about 150 prayer groups, where you can call in or you can go online and get prayer for whatever your need is. My wife uses, I was inspired by my wife, Gail, because she always wants prayer for all the things that she says, they're tough. She has some problem or something, and so she wants people to do it. Okay. Okay, I thought something was coming in over chat, but apparently not. Okay, so I started to create a list for her, and then it just ballooned from there, and I found all these wonderful churches and so on that offer prayer groups, that will pray for you. And you can, in some cases, you put it online and you'd say, could you pray for me? My husband has this or whatever, or I'm not feeling well, or I have an operation coming up, things like that. So I created a directory of prayer groups. And so I want to become an expert on prayer. And I also have a book about how to pray. So I created this course on how to pray. And so that'll be coming up. I'll be releasing that probably in the next week. So that's another thing. And so it's really kind of fun starting to think about how to create authority for yourself and how to become not just and I didn't want to use the word expert, because expert implies you really know a lot. You can be an authority on, say, parenting or love and romance because you're a parent, or you have loved and had romantic adventures, whatever. So you don't have to be an expert, but you can be an authority. And that's a little bit different. Experts tend to be more detailed oriented, I think. An authority is somebody that speaks from experience. And I think every book author becomes an authority by writing a book. In my experience, they don't always become an expert, because I've seen books that clearly the person is not an expert on their subject, even though they wrote about it. But they can credibly say, I'm an authority on it. So they've increased their credibility. And that's part of what I'm looking for, because I think that that's all part of becoming a successful book author or speaker or even an online marketer or a blogger or a podcaster is you want to increase your authority. One other way you can increase your authority, of course, is to do a podcast or create a website built around your key term. Sort of like my bookmarketingbestsellers.com website or my bookauthorauthority.com website. These establish me as an authority. And, that's, most of you that have followed me for the last, what is it, almost 40 years now. I started writing and publishing in 1984. Orwell predicted I would start. He wrote a whole novel about it, 1984. So I've been at it for 40 years. A lot of you know that I know a lot about everything. Well, at least about marketing books. I like to tell my wife I know a lot about everything, but I haven't convinced her yet. But I've only been married to her for a little bit over 30 years, so I still got time. So I wanted right now to open it up for questions. Any question on book marketing that you might have. Keith, I know you asked about your parenting book when we were talking right before everybody joined.
Yes, on your videos for YouTube, do you have a suggested length of time for them?
That's his book on parenting. Okay. For your own YouTube videos or for other people's?
No, for creating
A course?
a course.
It
Or-
depends on how you're doing it. When I did the course on getting what you want, I did not do the transcripts. Transcripts mean you have to edit the transcripts, and that's a lot of work, I found out. Because I did do it for the How to Pray course. I created transcripts for each one. And YouTube does create transcript. If you've noticed, if you look at a video and the person has enabled transcripts, YouTube creates a transcript, but it needs a lot of editing. And it takes time. It can take hours for a 10-minute video to edit the transcript. So, if you go over 10 minutes, I would say don't do transcripts. Now, in my Getting What You Want, I have videos that are as long as an hour. I didn't go more than an hour. There are videos I could have picked that were like 2 hours long, or in one case, 9 hours long.
Oh my.
And you don't want to do that because I think the ideal length is really probably 5 or 10 minutes. For most of you in the content you want to create and so on. And then you choose whether or not you want to do transcripts or not.
What about for your playlists?
For the playlist, I tried to keep most of them short.
Okay.
But there was one that was 20 minutes long, I think. That's the one that featured, I think, 50 of them, romantic destinations. So it was longer. It had to because they were featuring a lot of destinations.
Yeah.
And but that would be the longest I would do because when I was rewatching that, I fast forwarded. And I think you would find that would be true for most people. In today's world, we're a bite-size, content, I guess you could say content consumer. So you probably noticed that over the last 40 years, the books have become shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
Not all of them.
Not all of them. I mean, my book is still pretty long. And certainly in fiction, there are a lot of books that are 1,000 pages long still and so on. But in nonfiction, they're becoming shorter and shorter. And there's a reason for that, and that is that people don't have the time to consume longer book.
Right.
You'd be surprised how many people buy a book and never read it. Or maybe you're not surprised.
Yeah, I had some.
You're just happy they bought the book and then your job is to hopefully get them to read the book. So one of the things, and this is a good book marketing tip, if you get somebody to buy your book, they buy it on Amazon or something like that, or they buy it directly from you, communicate back to them, encourage them to start reading it, give them reasons to go delve into your book and start to taste it and consume it, because you don't get good word of mouth until people consume your book.
Hmm.
And if you don't get word of mouth, I've been quoted before, and I'll say it again: 80% of books are sold by word of mouth. Somebody tells somebody else, you gotta read this book. It's really good. It's blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. And that's what you want. So you have to have people consume your book. So even though a lot of people don't read a book, they'll buy it, but they maybe never will read it. Your job as an author is to get them to read it, to open the book and start to consume it. Point out different chapters where they should be looking at it. So I would, if they're buying direct from me and they've joined my email list, one of the things my email list is going to be is, here's some more interesting content from the book. Read page 33 and learn how XXX or something like that, so that people get involved in your book. They get to start to consume it, because that's how you create the word of mouth for your book, is that people have to read it.
So you could take
Now when you're out speaking or you're doing podcasts or things like that, you can encourage people to read it. Even then, you can tell people, even let's say you're being interviewed by another podcaster, and you're talking to them about your book, and you can say, it's really great. Here's some great content from the book. By the way, on page 66, there's something special. You need to read it to see it. Now, normally I don't recommend that people, when you're being interviewed, say, go see page 66. You want to give them the content in your interview, but you might want to do something like that where, I've covered, in this podcast, it's only been 20 minutes long. I was only able to cover 4 points of the 10 points that I was hoping to cover, that are covered in my book. I hope that more of you will go back to the book and find the rest of the content. You'll be glad you did something like that. With a book like 1001 Ways to Market Your Books, I can do 1001 emails and still not be tired, because I undercounted. So you make decisions like that. You want to encourage people to delve into your book. Now, Keith, I also told you a little bit about, join the groups in Facebook and LinkedIn that are relevant to your subject and participate in them. Again, it's not a function of buy my book, buy my book, buy my book.
Mm.
It's more about, how can I be of service to you in this group? And part of that is, people in groups often ask questions. Well, how do I do this? Or how do I accomplish this? And you get in there and you answer some of those questions. My wife is a member of a number of chemical sensitivity groups on Facebook and email newsletters, because she's chemically sensitive. So once in a while, and because she's also electronically sensitive, she doesn't do computers. So I'm the one that has to interface. So I go in and I'll say, well, my wife found this solution, and I'll share that. And I actually don't have a book on that subject. So, I'm just there because my wife has turned to those groups on more than one occasion to try to find help for things. So you'll find that people join Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, and other groups like that, because they want to find information that they're interested in. So your first obligation is not to sell your book in those groups, but to contribute content, to contribute things to them. Going back to my theme about giving, and that's how you will receive. And so, I think that's part of it. You had another question though, Keith. I think I'm holding you up on it.
Yes, I did. And I was asking, okay, I get overwhelmed easy. So, I get with 1001 ideas in my head, it's spinning. So which one would be a good place to start with your first book?
I'm a firm believer in podcasting, both creating your own podcast,
Wow.
and there's a wonderful service out there called Substack that will allow you to create a free podcast. It's where I have my podcast. I host it. It's where I host my newsletter.
How do you spell that?
Substack, SUB, and then stack,
Okay.
like a stack of books. And it's a free service, and it allows you to create a free podcast as well as a newsletter, both of them at the same time if you want. So the podcast content only goes out to those who to the podcast, but it's syndicated. I syndicate my podcast to somewhere around 45 websites, including Apple, Amazon, Audible, Pandora, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm getting exposure and credibility from a lot of top-rated, top-ranked websites, Google Play, et cetera, et cetera. And the neat thing about podcasting, which I really love, is that your podcast is automatically syndicated to every one of those platforms. In fact, I have a course on that as well, how to syndicate your podcast. In fact, I'm going to release that book hopefully in the next couple of weeks as well. And it goes step by step into how to syndicate your podcast. That's the one thing. You want your own podcast to talk about parenting. You can do a lot of short parenting tips where the podcast is like I have book marketing tips in my podcast that go like 2 to 3 minutes. And then boom, I'm off. There are other podcast episodes where I interview somebody and it can be a half hour or an hour long. And of course, this birthday bash I will host as a podcast episode as well. And of course, we've already gone like 33 minutes. So, it'll be a longer episode. But I would vary the episodes. I would do short tips, where you can create 5 or 6 tips in an hour or so, and then space them out over the week or 2 weeks or whatever you want to syndicate them in your podcast. Substack lets you schedule your podcast episodes. So you can schedule something. For example, I have a podcast episode that's coming out tomorrow morning. It's already scheduled. It's already ready to go. But the second part of that is you want to go to a place like listennotes.com, where you can find, I don't know, several million podcasts, and you can search for them by their subject area. It's listennotes.com. And it's a wonderful one. And there's another one, and I'm going blank on the name of it, matchmaker.fm. Matchmaker.fm. That's a website where people say, I'd like to be a guest on podcasts. Here's my credibility. Here's how to contact me. And you can also say, I'd like to interview people on my podcast. And I'm looking for people to interview. And I found some wonderful people on matchmaker.fm to interview for my podcast. So it was wonderful. And the neat thing is, both listennotes.com and matchmaker.fm allow you to link back to up to 10 websites or social media accounts that you have. So it's a great way to get links that Google likes, that the search engines like, that give you credibility for what you're doing. Now, Keith, you know, I don't know if you've created a Facebook group yet or a Facebook page about parenting, but at some point you should. The reason for that is that it increases your credibility as an authority on parenting.
I think
Got it.
And, that's the reason for it. And, the neat thing is that nowadays Facebook allows you to post to multiple places. When you put up a post, you can post to your personal profile and you can also post to your page at the same time.
John,
So,
this is Sarah.
yeah.
I'm so sorry. I apologize. I'm blind, so I used a screen reader and I was trying to get
okay.
in, and that was my screen reader making noise on
Okay.
another device. Quick question. Is there a cost associated with Listen Notes and Matchmaker FM? Because I've
.fm.
heard of Pod Match and started using that one, but didn't realize that
No,
those were
these two are free.
Mhm.
Matchmaker.fm encourages you to upgrade, so you can do a paid version, but I've only done the free version. And, it allows you to create 10 links back to your social media and your websites and so on. So that's great. Plus it does, you don't get as many people as when you pay, because when you pay, then Matchmaker FM does a little bit more pushing out of your content. That's the main
Okay.
difference.
That's the
between
difference.
paid. But the thing is, you still get a lot of people connecting with you anyway, because they're searching for key terms and they're looking for you. So listennotes.com and matchmaker.fm, they're actually some of the best podcast search engines you can find. I think they're better than Apple Podcasts for looking for it, because I have found that Apple is actually not that good at returning the results that you're looking for. Maybe they've gotten better, but my book marketing success podcast is available on Apple, and I'll type in book marketing in Apple. I still can't find my podcast, and I'm going,
Wow.
well, okay, there's a problem here. So, that's part of what you have to think about when you're doing it. But those two websites are incredibly valuable for finding people to invite to your podcast that you want to interview, and find ways to connect with them. Because even if you know of somebody who's a podcaster, Apple Podcast doesn't make it that easy to reach out to them and
Right.
connect with them and so on. But Listen Notes and Matchmaker FM, if they're on there, does make it a lot easier. So, that's what I'm always looking for, is that kind of connection, because I like creating relationships, not just, having people follow me without the relationship there as well.
That's great.
Yeah. So they're great. They're, again, substack.com, that's free. They make their money when you offer 2 levels on your podcast or email newsletter. For example, in my book marketing success newsletter on Substack, I offer a free version. It goes out to everyone that's there. But I also offer an upgraded paid version that for $70 a year, you get extra content, you get extra capabilities, interaction with me. And, I think that that's valuable. Of the only about 1% of the people that get my free newsletter think the same, but you keep giving out good content, eventually more people will subscribe. You try to give more good paid content as well, so that people will combine with you. And that's what you want. You want to have that kind of thing.
Okay, great. John, I have a question.
Yeah.
It's related to the book, and
Is this Sarah again? Or
this is Sarah. No, I'm so
Okay.
sorry. Yeah, this is Sarah. And the reason why I don't have the video is because I can't tell how I'm positioned on my video camera for tonight. So I'm
Well,
going, I can't
like
see
it
you
when
guys.
they're sort of tipsy like this.
But my question is, a CIP, cataloging and publication,
Yeah.
how is that no longer available for self-publishers? Many years ago, we
It was
self-published a book, it
available,
was, but now we
and
can't
I
find it.
don't I don't know if it's available or not, but it's really not that important.
Okay, so an
Your
LC,
book will get cataloged anyway. It's just a matter, it might take a few more days or weeks.
uh-huh.
So when I publish books now, I don't pay attention to a lot of the niceties that I should be. Like I don't send in copyright forms for everything.
Oh, listen, oh, you're telling on yourself. Okay.
Well,
But that's okay.
you already have the copyright when you put the
Yeah.
copyright notice in the book. You just
Yeah.
get more nice legal protections when you
Yeah. Just
do it.
to cover
So
yourself. Right. Yeah.
again, for those of you who are wondering, this book is copyrighted and the forms have been sent in.
Okay. There we go. There we go.
But there are
Well,
other books I've created that it's not important to me.
mhm.
You know, spending the time to do all those extra little niceties to me is, you know, that's one of the things I really love about podcasting is it takes some time to set up the syndication. It takes, you know, probably 3, 4, 5 hours to set up syndicating to 40 or 50 websites. But once you've done it, your podcast is syndicated. Every episode you do, it's syndicated to those
Mhm.
40 or 50 websites. So
Hmm.
it's one of the things that it's to me one of the major reasons you should be podcasting. But the other reason is that by podcasting, you can start to create relationships with other key influencers in your area. So you can call up another parenting author or somebody that runs a parenting website and say, "I'd love to interview you on my parenting." Think of a great name for it. The Great Name Parenting Podcast. You know? And that allows you to have credibility, to have authority, and a reason for them to want to connect with you because you're going to interview them. You'll be surprised how many famous people will respond and say yes to an interview request by you. So, you know, Keith, you know, I might try some of the famous Hollywood actresses like Jessica Alba, who's a mother, and you know, and other potential parents that might be interested in being on your podcast. And then you can, of course, send, "Hey, you know, thanks for the interview. It was wonderful. Um, would you be okay if I sent you a copy of my book?" And suddenly Jessica Alba is carrying that book around the streets of Hollywood. Um,
Mhm.
and you know, that makes a difference. Now, of course, you want somebody that's got credibility as a parent, in your case, to do that. But if you can find parents, celebrity parents are great people to interview. And you know, if you watch, say, one of the celebrity websites, you can probably find out which people have just become parents or have kids that are 2 to 3 years old. Is your parenting book for uh, babies, toddlers, teens?
It begins with toddlers up to people in their teens. It it actually works best when you start with children when they're young,
Yeah,
and that way, if you know you build a great relationship and you build their self-worth when
I
they're
can't
young,
stand this
and when they
anymore.
get to their teens, they're not so apt to be wild and dangerous.
yeah. You're talking about me. I was raised so well that I was a good teen. I got a little bit more dangerous when I got into my 20s, but and my wife said, "I've been working on him for 33 years, and I still got work to do."
Um,
So, uh, you know, and that's fine. I love being a challenge for her, but she's been happier and happier. She seems to think she's seeing results.
She kept you this long.
Yeah. I'm not sure how much that was inertia, how much of that was love, but she does love me. And again, today she gave me the best birthday gift ever. She said, "You can be whatever you want." And
Awesome.
that's a great birthday gift, along with this sticker that she gave me.
John, when did you say your book on prayer is going to come out? This is Sarah again.
It should come out in the next week.
And
I have it done. It's just a matter of putting it up on Amazon and possibly Ingram Spark.
oh, okay.
I should find somebody that can do that kind of work for me, because I hate that kind of work.
Yeah. Well, I did use Ingram Sparks and had a few little glitches with them.
Yeah,
But,
I've had that with Ingram Spark. I've
yeah.
had it with Amazon, because
Mhm.
I did agree to put somebody's book up on Amazon for him, and it turned out he had the Constitution in the background, and it had letters in it and so on. And so Amazon rejected the cover because the letters were going off the cut lines of the book.
Hmm.
And they were saying, if we can't use your cover because we're going to cut off the words. Well, they weren't part of the real content. They were just the background image,
Hmm.
But try to tell Amazon that. So
Right.
anyhow, it got to be a lot more work than
Yeah.
what he paid me for. So,
Oh gosh, yeah, I know.
and
And-
I've had trouble with Ingram Spark, also, the difficulty with them in terms of uploading things for other people. So,
Right.
I've decided, again, I'm swearing off of that. And maybe I'll try to find somebody that can do it for me as well.
And save you that stress and headache, right?
That's what
Yeah.
I love. It's like most writers. I love writing books. I love creating content. I hate a lot of the details. Like I
Yeah.
hate doing taxes. I'm thinking of not doing taxes anymore. No, I didn't say that.
No, not on your 75th. You did not say that. No, no,
I
no.
did not say that.
You did not say that.
I will
No,
do my
no,
taxes.
no. Well, I was going to ask you.
And I'm actually happy to pay taxes, because that means I was successful that year.
Yeah, that's true. That is a good thing. That's a good thing. That's absolutely a good thing. Well, for me, one of the things with my book is, because I'm blind, I need to make sure that it's accessible. And the challenge I'm having with is trying to connect with the Kindle people, because the book is in an ebook form, but it's not the text to speech. And I'm having the toughest time trying to find someone who can go into the book, the back end, to convert it to text to speech. And because Amazon keeps saying that it's not text to speech, but I keep saying, where is it? So I know how to fix it.
When you upload the Kindle book, one of the things, I believe, one of the options is to choose to publish it to text to speech.
Well, the person who did that for me said that that's what they did, but it's not text to speech, because I use it all the time, and I'm having problems because of the accessibility. So, and I can't get that answer. So,
okay, is your book on Kindle Unlimited?
I'm not sure. When you say Kindle Unlimited, I think it's just Kindle.
Again, you have to choose to put it on Kindle Unlimited. And for those who are listening, I would encourage you at this point to put your book on Kindle Unlimited.
What's the difference between the two?
Kindle Unlimited means that I can go in, I'm a member of Kindle Unlimited. You pay for it as an Amazon user. And I bought it for 3 months. And what it allows me to do is go in and read a book for free, basically. And you get paid for every page I read.
Not much.
Not much, but it's a little bit. There's one guy that's making $3,000 or $4,000 a month just on Kindle Unlimited, people reading his book, tasting it, testing it out.
Oh,
And what
really?
it does is it allows a person to consume the entire book if they want to, and then they can decide, okay, I want to buy the print book and have it in my library or something like that. But it allows them to read the book without buying it, which is kind of neat, because it allows me, like when somebody's emails me and they say, my book is up on Amazon now. If I can go in and read it, like I read a woman's children's book on Kindle Unlimited. It was a great children's book. It was about the three little pigs and a retelling of it. It was wonderful. I gave it a great review and I read the entire thing on Kindle Unlimited. So I didn't have to pay to, or buy the book in order to give her a good review because I read it on Kindle Unlimited. She makes the money anyway through Kindle Unlimited, but I got it basically for free so I could give her a good review. She had wonderful illustrations, and it's a great retelling of the story because it turns out the wolf is actually good. He's trying to help the pigs.
Wow.
Hmm.
So,
He's just trying to return a ring that their mother lost. And so he keeps coming up to their house and saying, I want to return this ring. And they're going, it's a big bad wolf, big bad wolf. And it turns out at the end they become friends and they have dinner together and things like that. And their grandmother, the pig's grandmother, gets her ring back and everything's happy at the end. I think it's a wonderful retelling and the illustrations are just wonderful, gorgeous.
wow. Kindle Unlimited. So if it's currently under Kindle, I can go in the back end and try to switch that
You should be able to, yes.
to make it available
And
for Kindle.
obviously,
Mhm.
you being blind, you can't do that, but hopefully you have a
Yeah,
friend or an
no,
assistant or
I'll find someone,
yeah.
that can navigate that as well. Okay. Very interesting.
It's tough for people. People often get stuck with the back end things of Ingram Spark and Amazon and so on. So I understand that sometimes you just need extra help.
Mhm.
Keith, you had a question?
I had comments on that Kindle Select or Unlimited.
Unlimited.
That opens it up also to a lot of other countries around the world when you join that. So I did that. Also,
Kindle Select and Kindle Unlimited are different.
okay.
But Kindle Unlimited does allow people to read your book, and I think it's a great service. And the one author that I am aware of is making good money just from that.
I'll have to check that out. And then on the doing the technical stuff, there's a website. Now, I haven't used them because they want more money than I can afford. I don't think they're very far out of line. It's called bookbaby.com. And
Oh yeah,
they do editing. They'll do all the formatting for your book to get it on Amazon, and then they put it a bunch of other places too. So
yeah. I'll have to talk to them.
Bookbaby.com.
Bookbaby.com. It allows you to publish, and they have different promotional tools as well. They're good people there, so that might be an alternative for you. And they would
Okay.
also, I think they also can put you on Ingram Spark.
Well, what if you've already got it? I wonder, could you just purchase the technical expertise to
That
go
I
in
don't
that
know.
back end? Yeah, I'll go to the website. Though.
You'd
Thanks
have to
for
ask them.
Yeah,
but
yeah. I'll check that out because that would be another great service. Because gosh, it is a lot to navigate. I'm thinking even if I were sighted and doing the
Yeah.
back end. Yeah.
It's one of those things, and it's like me not liking to do taxes. Even if you hire an accountant, which I always do, you still got to prepare all this junk for them.
Okay.
And part of that means that you have to have kept up entering your checks into your accounting system, and I'm about 5 months behind, so I got work to do in the next month. And my wife keeps nagging me, and I kept, before we moved, we moved in May, and that screwed up everything for me. And so I'm still trying to catch up with that move, but so I have to catch up with the accounting now. So that's the only thing that will keep me from not putting the Book of Prayer up this week. I'll definitely get it up on Amazon. I'll look to see about Ingram Spark.
Okay, great. And I don't want to hog the questions. Anybody else have one? I have one more question.
Go ahead until
Okay.
they stand up for themselves. It's you.
Okay. All right. If I mention in my book different prominent advertisers, let's say Adobe, or let's say the screen reader that I'm using,
Yeah.
is that a good way to approach that company to maybe purchase in bulk?
It is.
If I
one of the-
mention it in the front cover, holding this is
Yes.
a company, da da da, that sort of thing.
Yes, it is one of the ways to do it. Now, if you bought any of the recent editions of my 1001 Ways to Market Your Books, you see that I have contributors in the book. Each of those have paid me over $1,000 to be featured in the book. They contribute a useful article, plus they get a credit line, giving them value. And I approached them ahead of time and said, look, do you want to be featured in my book? Here's the criteria. You have to write a good article. The better the article, the greater your credibility, your authority, etc. So I get good content and I get paid, so that literally the last few editions of my book, I haven't had to pay for the printing because it was paid for by the advertisers.
And do
So
you have
the
just a
cost
special
of goods
page?
on the book, the cost of goods on the book was essentially zero.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Do you have a whole contributor page or something? Like an acknowledgement page of,
No,
How do you-
they're actually
just mentioned they have?
integrated. They're integrated into the book
Oh,
with
okay.
two pages, or so, I think in one or two cases it might have been 3 pages, where they had an article and then they had a credit line and a little
Mhm.
sales pitch about what they do, and that's integrated into the book. Plus,
Ah,
they're featured in the index for the same reason.
index, right. Okay.
Not only the index, but the table of contents.
Okay. Okay. That's an idea.
So it's
Mhm.
a cool way to do it. And you could have, before you wrote your book, have approached them, or if you republish the book, do a second edition at some
Mhm.
point. You
And
could
that's what.
approach some of these people and
Mhm.
say, "Look, would you like to have an ad in my book or something like that?"
Yeah, and that's what we're thinking
And
about, updating it.
you'd be surprised, that you might get a
Mhm.
number of them going, "Yes, I want to do that."
Mhm. Okay.
Ready?
Great.
Yeah, hi. I want to ask you, I have a free ebook that I'm offering. Can I put a message in the chat?
Yes.
Okay. Here it goes.
There it is. The chat is blinking. Okay.
I
Oh.
send it to everyone.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
Wow, you did that. You're a fast typist.
What did you type? Unfortunately,
I'll
it
read it
didn't
to you.
it didn't read it. Normally it does, but it didn't read it this time. So tell me, what did you
Shall
type?
I read it then? Or you want to do it, Don?
Nature Poems for a New Dawn, a short
Nature's
free ebook for poetry lovers, packed with witty and mystical poetry you can't read on your phone. Oh, you can read on your phone wherever you go. Receive your
Oh.
free downloadable ebook today when you join my poetry email newsletter. Click here, and it's a clickable link. At least
Wow.
for
Yeah.
those of you
Mhm.
here.
That can click the chat box. Okay, that's nice.
And
Or you can just copy the whole thing and then later make the link.
Yeah.
The link to the download.
and Freddie, because you did that and shared that, I will go and when I post this in my podcast, I'll include your statement.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
nice.
So any of you other ones that want to put something in the chat for that reason, you're welcome to do it. If you have a free giveaway, or if you plan to give away a free parenting playlist. or Washington playlist, or Tricia, what's your book about? Tricia Gardella?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I thought you said Fisher. I
Oh,
write
no.
picture books. So
Oh, cool.
I'm in a different world.
It's a good world to be in.
I like it.
Do you illustrate them too, or do you hire
No.
illustrators?
I hire illustrators.
Okay. I have one friend that teaches a course on how to illustrate your books yourself using AI.
No.
And I bought his course. It was like $7, so I bought it. And then I tried the program, and boy, I couldn't make it do what I wanted it to do. It was absolutely worthless. So it was frustrating. I think it's, I was looking at it to possibly illustrate a graphic novel, because I have a short story that I wanted to turn into a graphic novel, but it didn't work for me.
Some of it's very pretty, but I think it ruins a picture book for me.
Yeah, and part of the value of a picture book, I mean, most librarians and bookstores will judge a picture book by 50% author, 50%, the illustrator, and do I like
That's
what they're
pretty.
doing? And that's why if you're doing a picture book, you need to hire a professional. And the neat thing on places like Fiverr, you can actually find people pretty well. That's Fiverr.com, 5RR.com. You didn't like them? You can find good people there, but it's, again, it's one of those challenges, because I know people who have gotten great book cover designs out of
And I
Fiverr.
know people that have had problems too, major problems.
Yes,
with
and so
people there.
that's why. And then there's several other websites like that are probably better, and I'm going blank on them right now.
You could try the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. If you go to meetings, you'll meet illustrators there. That's what I would suggest.
Okay, and you can download a free copy of Explore Vancouver, Washington at that link that Patty just shared with us. That's Patty's book.
Yeah, I just looked at it.
It's a great
Okay.
book. If you live, if you're planning to travel to Portland, make sure you go across the river to Vancouver, because they don't have all the Antifa, and they have great things to do there. It's a little bit safer, isn't it, Patty?
Nope.
Uh-oh, you don't have your
muted.
audio on.
I did it. I muted it. Yeah. So yeah, it's so a lot of people think that, Portland was after or was before Vancouver, but Vancouver was actually we were here like 30, 40 years before Portland was ever put together. So, and also before Vancouver, BC, where, now that I'm talking, I do have a question. So
Okay.
what do you do when you have one book that's in one type of area, but you want to do like a fiction book, or you want to do different kinds of books, and yet you still have to keep marketing, your first book, your other books, but you need to kind of also switch gears to go in another direction as well.
Well, you have a couple options there. One is you create a catch-all website so that no matter what kind of book you write, the people that come to your website would be interested or whatever. I have a hobby website, I call it, called My Incredible Website. I originally, when I was writing 1001 Ways, I kept wanting to refer to, well, your personal website, or your website. And, let's say My Incredible Website. I said, well, that's a pretty good URL. I think I'll get it. And it was available, so I got it. and it has a lot of content. I put a lot of my catch-all or things that I do that are different than book marketing, because book marketing success, obviously I'm going to talk mainly about marketing, publicity, writing, things like that. So my incredible website is where I put my prayer work, um, and any other sort of oddball thing that I do, because I do a lot of oddball things. I have about 70 or 80 books in the works, so including quote books. I have about, I think around 40 quote books, collections of quotes on different themes. One is travel, one is food, one is acting, music, politics, success, and then a lot of them sort of theme ones like Thanksgiving and things like that. So there's a whole bunch of them that I really haven't released most of them yet because I keep adding to them. But I have released a few of them. One of them is The Art of Living. It's on Amazon. And it's quotes from artists and writers. So it's a neat one. So anyway, if you're doing a lot of different topics, you have to think about that. Because even with my new website, Book Author Authority, I realized that, okay, I've got the prayer book. I created the new playlist on romantic travel destinations. So suddenly the website is becoming more than just about authority. But each of those is an example of how to create authority. So one of the reasons I'm creating the How to Pray course is to help to extend my credibility as somebody who can talk about prayer. And the same with the romantic travel destinations. It was an example of how to create authority by creating a playlist. But it also, I have a book about love quotations, and I have a book about the 500 words about romance and love. So, I've got several books to sell, so I'm a romance author, but not a novelist yet.
Right.
But so you sort of have to, generally speaking, I tell people stick to one thing and do it well and keep doing it. But I'm a bad example of that because I have all these different interests. And I want to write about them all and I want to talk about them all and things like that. So one of the things I'm doing with the bookauthorauthority.com website is the whole idea of how you can create authority in multiple fields by writing books, creating playlists, creating courses, things like that. So I'm going to be my own example
Mhm.
of how to do that and become an authority in multiple areas. So
Yes.
that's probably the one key argument for having a website that's built around your name,
Right. Yeah.
because
So
then you can write about anything. If you have a book like a website like bookmarketingbestsellers.com, you really can only talk about books. So I can talk
Okay.
about writing, marketing, publicizing, online marketing. So I got some variety there, but I really can't talk about prayer or travel or romance.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a
So
good.
I have to leave. I
I
have
do
to leave, but I
too.
want to wish you a happy birthday and thanks for
yeah,
Yeah,
this call. So
yeah.
absolutely. And
I was
John,
just
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say the same thing. I have to go too. So
Well, John, in parting, I want to wish you a wonderful 75, and God knows, just let him keep adding to all those years, many, 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 many more. And
Yeah.
the last thing I want to add is when you are ready to start interviewing for your prayer book, call me, because the power of prayer is what led me to do all of my books. And I can definitely love to be able to talk about it.
Oh, cool.
I
I'll do
believe
that.
in it. It isn't definitely, it works.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a blessed one.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank
Bye.
And
you, John. Happy
so this is
birthday.
really a good time to, we've been live for an hour and 15 minutes because we started a little bit early and Keith and I were live. The rest of you weren't live yet, but now you are. So I'll take one or two last questions if anybody has one. Otherwise, this has been fun. I really enjoyed the people that showed up. And I'm glad you were able to make it. And happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
So, okay. So we'll stop it at this time. I'll stop the streaming. I think I can. Yep, stop streaming. And then I can stop recording.